Hello ATS 113 students, Dr. Shragi here, and I'm going to help you know what to read for the first lecture of the ATS 113 course. And for the first lecture, I'm going to want you to focus on pages 3 through 14 in your textbook, although for the current lecture you can skip page 12. Let's look through these pages and see what's going to be the most important materials to be working on. Okay, so you're going to be reading through about all of these. There's a little bit here about the definitions of meteorology and about climatology and a little bit about severe weather and what leads to the most fatalities in severe. Now I marked this particular paragraph up here in red. You are responsible for this material. I'm not sure we'll actually have time in class to talk about the differences between meteorology and climatology, but you are responsible for this material. I also want you to focus on this section on composition of the atmosphere, and you'll be able to tell in the lecture that this is the most important material in this unit. I draw your attention down to this picture down here at the bottom, which really gives us a sense of what it labels as the inputs and outputs of gases in the atmosphere. We'll use the more general scientific term of sources of gases and sinks of gases. We'll talk about lots of different concepts in this course in the context of sources and sinks. Alright, so then we're going to learn about the permanent, or sometimes called constant, gases in the atmosphere, as well as the variable gases in the atmosphere. And we're going to learn how these are related to their sources and sinks. And in particular, I want to call your attention to the concept of residence time. I want you to understand how residence time is related to the sources and sinks of a gas in the atmosphere. So we're going to learn about different variable gases in the atmosphere, like water vapor and carbon dioxide. We're going to learn here about the different sources of carbon dioxide. I really like this figure at the bottom of this page. We'll learn about why carbon dioxide is changing in these different ways, both on a yearly cycle and over long periods of time. Alright, so learn more about carbon dioxide and its sources and its sinks. Notice the paragraph here marked with about ozone. We actually have quite a lot of material in this course about ozone, so for right now you don't need to focus on that because we'll be doing it quite a bit more in a later lecture. In fact, let me just go ahead and mark this whole page about depletion of the ozone layer. It's interesting, but we'll come back to it in a later lecture. And finally, we're going to be talking about the other gases and also aerosols, the little pieces of solids and liquids that are suspended in the atmosphere. And then you just read to the top of page 14. It's the end right here above where it says a vertical structure of the atmosphere. Alright, so if you read through that and focus on the materials I told you to focus on and take responsibility for the materials that we won't have time to cover in class but which I've told you to stress, I think this is going to go well for you. This has been Dr. John Shragi. Copyright 2006.